quick question to think about. Have you ever felt 3 different emotions in about 3 seconds? When Justin Malloy asked me about speaking at the conference, I thought, what an exciting opportunity. I can't believe it. And then the very next second, oh my God, am I speaking at a conference? This is terrifying. And then, okay, so what's the topic? Learning about failure. Should I be offended by this? Well, no, the answer is definitely not. And honestly, there is no pressure here. I don't have to prove perfection to you guys today because we're talking about failure, for goodness sake. It's an exciting opportunity, and my gut reaction was right. So my first lesson of failure is one of personal growth. I recently left a design job that took me down many avenues in graphic design. There are 8 years full of successes and failures, and the first one was a perceived failure. I no longer wanted to be the do everything, be everything designer. It wasn't a hat I wanted to wear 24/7, and I'll explain that to you. I didn't express my artfulness in the exact same way that I saw in others. I didn't pull all-nighters on personal projects. I didn't have my own brand or website, and I've hardly doodled in the pages of a notepad since I was in grade school. It all led me to believe that I was somehow a lesser designer. And that's definitely not true, but part of the reason why I was just how stressed out I was. I wear a lot of hats on a daily basis, and they're not all official titles, but they add up, as I'm sure many of you can relate to. And in my case, you could argue that those hats manifest as bags, because this is me arriving to work on a typical day. Now, let's add on top of that all of the thoughts I might have at any given time. It never stops. And quite frankly, our world moves so fast that anxiety can creep in at any age. And my story of failure is probably sounding pretty predictable at this point. All of this time, I was feeling pressure to achieve what was expected of myself. I'd take on more roles, be more creative, design better, become a leader, learn everything there is to know about the latest technology and harness it right now, maintain deadlines, grow opportunities, avoid the hammer coming down on my head. And that was all just within the office. In reaction to this, I was working my butt off and racking my brain about how I could do more, do better. And do any of you get stuck in your head like this? It's my reaction to stress, and I'm still working on that today. But at the time, I was being asked to perform at such a high level on way too many things in a way that wasn't feasible or enjoyable. And that's the risk of leaning in. I leaned in so far, I fell on my face. We recently had a great conversation in our office that I'm going to share with you about how everyone in this room needs to learn how to recognize when they're at risk of reaching their limit before it happens, and speak up when you see it happening in others. Help yourself so that you can help others. Looking back, one of my tells was that I was saying over and over again, you can't be an expert in everything. It's impossible. My annual review often had produced the same request, and you could probably guess what it was. Find that thing that you can be the expert in that no one else here can do as well and grow yourself in it. But I couldn't do it. Either I couldn't do it there in that environment, or perhaps I simply wasn't ready. To put it straight, I was unhappy. I was absorbing way too many negative things going on around me, and I tried different ways of reaching out for help, but it wasn't received. So, right or wrong, I decided it was time to go. And I had a wake-up call after I had already decided to look outside my company. I was having an ad design reviewed for the 5th or probably 10th time, and suddenly I realized that I was being schooled on designing within a grid. It was my 8th year of employment at the company, and this was graphic design theory being thrown right back into my face. At the time, I was so furious, but really, was I that checked out? And clearly it showed, and that was a big slice of humble pie for me to admit. And perhaps by that point, I was failing in some people's eyes, but I had failed myself long before that. So what did I do about it? I got real, and I got focused. I found a job post that stood out to me very clearly, and it didn't waste any time before I said to myself, I'm going to get this job. And it was for the position of construction administration lead at an EGD firm. Talk about a highly specialized role. This was something unique that I know I can do, and it's the role that I'm in today. Those hats or bags that I wore taught me so many valuable skill sets, and they're the key ingredients to my success as CA lead. Much of my focus is now placed on the implementation end of a design project, but all those hours spent conceptualizing and studying a design problem provides great intuition when deciding how should this get built, how should it look? And it makes so much sense. Steve Jobs gave a speech where he discussed the seemingly irrelevant choices he made early in life, and he said it was impossible to connect the dots looking forward when I was in college, but it was very, very clear looking backwards 10 years later. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. What changed was my way of thinking. I finally took ownership of my career path, and today I'm becoming the leader that I always knew I could be. And for me, that change in place was also representing a change of mind. I focused and I specialized. And this is the confidence that I've found with the help of the amazing support system that I've gained. If you're struggling with finding your expertise, make a list, start writing things down. If it helps, here's why I think I succeed in the latter half of a design process. I thrive in areas that let me use my hands and work in space. I love being a promoter of great ideas. When I witness something great, I want to see it happen. I study things closely, and I want to figure out how it works, how it's built. I want people to share with me when there's a better way of doing something, a better process, a better material to use, anything. And most importantly, I love seeing designs jump from the page to the real world. I think that's why a lot of you are in this industry. Our hard work isn't thrown away in the trash. It's satisfying as hell. And today I'm making balance in my career a priority. I chose to be an expert in one area instead of being average at everything. So find that place, physically or mentally, that supports the same goal. I'm introduced here today as an emerging leader, but it's still a new role for me that I'm flexing, stretching, and growing into. But now I can breathe.